Oh, hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hi,
I
friend.
started talking before I unmuted myself, which is par for the course.
That tracks.
That is the most normal thing I've ever done in my entire life. Sorry for being gone for 2 weeks.
Life sucked.
Yeah. The first week was my fault, and the second week was not technically her fault, but kind of her fault. I mean, it wasn't her fault, but it was
It
like
was not my fault, but things going on in my life.
yeah, the first week I was sick, which is my fault 100% because I don't take care of myself. Uh, that's the end of the sentence.
Two things, because it's not a Podstation 64 podcast unless I complain to Blake.
I called it. I said this before we started. She's going to find something wrong.
Can you tell me what it is?
Is it the lighting? Is it the color?
No, it's not my video. Well, it's kind of my video.
Is it the black bar at the bottom?
It is.
I told you I can't get rid of that when you ever use OBS.
Oh, okay. There's one more thing, and it's not in the video. It's in the title.
Has Nintendo lost its story power?
You can do it. Come on, kids, find the grammatical error.
Has Nintendo lost? It is. It's the apostrophe.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, there it is.
I can't. We'll mess up live streaming in YouTube, but
yeah, I'm not fixing because YouTube will break. I actually started the stream, then stopped it because the title's never updated. And then restarted it. And then they took forever to, it was a whole thing. It's a whole thing. This is episode 30. Congratulations. We made it. We should be on episode 32, but it's fine. We were going to do a double episode this week. But given that neither of us have beaten Echoes of Wisdom and one of us is only in the first part of it.
Part of it.
Huh?
Second part.
I'm sorry, second part of it. We're not ready for review. I can give you a preliminary review if you want and tell you.
Cute.
Huh?
It's cute.
It's cute. The beginning's very slow. It ramps up after the beginning. Once you get past that second part, it will ramp up. Like, because I was gonna have that great.
I haven't unlocked the anytime you start a new game or a book or a TV show, how you're kind of force feeding yourself however many hours until your brain switches and it's like, oh wait, I actually like the thing you're force feeding me, and then asks for more.
Yeah.
I haven't hit that point where I'm asking for more. I'm still force feeding it to my brain.
You're still in the Gerudo one?
Yeah, it's kind of keeps getting pushed back for me.
Yeah. When you do the next temple, when you finish that temple and the next one, you'll be, okay, this is good so far. And then you'll go and you'll be like, okay, I'm in. I'm fully in. When everything starts to open up to you. Because now I'm at that point, I don't want to put it down. I am loving it. I will give my preliminary gripe because it's not spoilery, and I think it's a very valid gripe. And I don't think Emily's experienced it yet because she doesn't have nearly as many echoes yet. Sorting through that echo menu is a pain in the ass. Okay. It is tedious.
I probably don't have near as many as you do, but it's still a pain.
Yeah, it was a pain from the beginning.
But I would like to give a shout out real quick to my favorite echo. Should be everybody's favorite echo, everybody's MVP, everybody's homie. P-Hat.
P-Hat?
P-Hat.
P-Hat.
P-Hat. Do you know P-Hat?
What is P-Hat?
It's the big spiky thing with the arms that shoot out and then it spins a lot.
What? You
can get it pretty early in the game.
I don't know what
before the first dungeon, he's uber powerful. He is, in Ocarina of Time, those things in Hyrule Field when you're a kid, they're those big red things that spin and have spikies and chase you. Yes. It's that.
I don't think I've ever encountered one, and I've unlocked more than that.
To get it. There's a side quest to get it too, and it's I'm sure there's better ones as you get through the game, but for the first few hours of the game, it's incredibly powerful and will kill every enemy in the game instantly.
The real best one, the real best item echo in the game, and stays best echo, and chat is going off with it. It's bed. The bed broken.
But P-Hat.
Bed. Restore hearts without wasting anything. Make a ladder. Send me a photo. Send me a photo. I want to like see and make sure I'm not crazy. We have a lot of news to cover, so this is still going to be a longer episode because we have like 2 weeks of news to cover.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to cover. I'm sending you a link to this. Like, there's like 30 Reddit posts that are like, P-Hat is so powerful.
Okay, this is not showing me what the P-Hat is. It's showing me...
Okay, wait, look at this one where somebody's like, what's your most used echo? And the first person says P-Hat, and everyone's like, yeah, no, it's P-Hat. Okay, let me find you a picture.
I don't have... Oh, no, it's not that one.
There's not a great photo of him with his... Oh, here he is.
I'm looking. I'm...
But I already have him for you.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Okay, I got it.
But do you have him?
I do have him. I got him very late. I got him incredibly late. I got the quest, but I didn't find him until very, very late because I didn't go into a specific...
tragic. He's like uber powerful in the beginning of the game.
At the beginning, yes. When I got him, no. Oh, you want me to share P-Hat? I'll share P-Hat. I will share P-Hat.
Yeah, show chat who P-Hat is. He's my real boy. He's my homie. I love.
My good town boy. Let's see. Where's the thingy? Oh, there it is.
Where's
I'm all over the place.
P-Hat in bed? I don't know if we can share P-Hat in bed.
They're saying P-Hat. Oh, in bed. I thought he said and bed. Okay.
You can't read. Don't tell me what I'm reading.
It's true. I can't read. Damn it.
Those like big spiky things are the P-Hats. You can find them before even the first dungeon. And they pretty much just wreck everything because they spin with the spiky things on the outside and fly at the enemies, and they can't really do anything about it.
I'm gonna have to use it more. I'm not gonna tell you what I've been using the most. You'll get it in the next dungeon, but it's the best water echo you can get, and it is wonderful. But I don't want to spoil the cool shit because there's some cool shit. But yeah, like I said, a lot of news, mainly because we had a State of Play last week and Tokyo Game Show last week.
Oh my gosh. Can I start?
I guess. Sure.
I've been trying to talk about this with people all week, and my friends are the only people who get it. I tried to talk about it at family dinner the other night, and my family looked at me like a group of 5 heads.
Okay.
Big news for me personally. I don't think Blake cares very much, but big news for me personally. Assassin's Creed Shadows got pushed to February.
Oh yeah. I said that to you. I was gonna talk to you about that. I was gonna bring that up, but you did it for me.
No, I'm ready. I have so much to say about this whole topic because Assassin's Creed Shadows got pushed to February to fight the controversy, right? Because if you've been involved at all, and we've talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
This game has been embroiled in controversy, which pretty much every game is. Point. I feel like it's hard to find out, but like Ubisoft has made some pretty terrible decisions when it came to this game. So I feel like they pushed it to February to try to like shed some of that controversy, which is not going to be successful.
They also said it was a buggy mess, and they are going off of Star Wars bugs, and they don't want to be because a lot of people are complaining about Star Wars bugs. That's another thing I've heard through the grapevine.
I didn't really have any Star Wars bugs, but like. I can appreciate them wanting to get rid of the bugs before it launches. I appreciate that commitment.
If it's true.
I also feel like it's part of the controversy, but I feel like the pushing back might have worked for them in the long run. However, if you watched the State of Play, you might have seen that like 5 years later, we're finally getting Ghost of Tsushima 2, which has been officially named the Ghost of Yotai. It takes place 300 years after the original Ghost of Tsushima with a new samurai. Actually, I don't know if she's technically a samurai.
She is.
In Hokkaido, which is northern Japan, so we're not in Tsushima anymore. And if you know anything about Ghost of Tsushima, and therefore Ghost of Yotai, it's pretty much Assassin's Creed in Japan. And so Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is Assassin's Creed Japan, and Ghost of Yotai are going to be released within the same calendar year. Hopefully not within the same quarter for Ubisoft's sake. Because the reality is, guys, they're not going to win that battle. If consumers have to choose between Ghost of Yotai and Assassin's Creed Shadows, y'all know me. I'm an Assassin's Creed girly till the day I die, but I would tell you if you asked me which one to go for. to go for Ghost of Yotei.
What's even more nuts is that the announcement for I hear everyone calling it Ghost of Yotei, which I think they're wrong because you lived in Japan and I trust your judgment more than other people.
It could be Yotei. I don't claim. I'll admit, I've never heard that word before, so I could be pronouncing it incredibly wrong.
Whichever it is, so sorry. Don't mean to offend. We're just stupid Americans. The announcement happened, and then the next day is when they announced they're pushing back the game, which is just insane. Either it's just really bad timing, or they watched that trailer and like, oh, we can't release this now. We have to.
Hold on. I'm listening to how to pronounce.
I can hear it.
It's annoying. He's giving me a whole thing. Yotei.
Okay, sorry. Ghost of Yotei. Been saying it wrong.
Sorry. I feel embarrassed. Blake's right. It's Yotei.
I don't say I was right. I was wrong too. I got it. I just heard it from the internet. Yeah. So Ghost of Yotei gets announced, and then Ubisoft is like, gonna push that back a little bit. Just push it back.
No, they had to decide it before Ghost of Yotei was announced because they announced their departure from Tokyo Game Show before the State of Play, because I think the State of Play was in time with Tokyo Game Show, and they announced that they were not going to be at Tokyo Game Show before that.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have heard about Ghost of Yotei before the State of Play. They probably did, just from people, but I mean, either they knew that it was going on for a long time, or I don't know, but
Sucker Punch keeps their stuff pretty low key. People are begging for information, but they don't give anything until they release something in a year.
So I prefer that. Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm so glad they didn't tell me about Ghost of Yotei until I don't know when in 2025 it's going to release. They didn't specify a quarter or a month or anything like that. But I'm glad it's going to be a 6 to I mean, at this point, it could be anywhere from 3 to 12 months.
It's not going to come out in January.
No, I'm just saying it could range anywhere from 3 to 15-month wait. I don't think it's going to come out in December. I don't think it's going to come out in January. No. So I'm very grateful that probably within a year I'll have the game.
I'm going to guess May. I'm going to guess May. I think April, May is a good time for a release.
It depends. You know what? They probably don't care. I was just thinking if the Switch releases around that time. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima released in July of 2020.
Was it?
So maybe they'll do summer again.
Yeah. I have full faith mainly because Sucker Punch literally has no misses.
Because Ghost of Tsushima was a 10 out of 10 game.
They have all 3 Sly Coopers, which are all great games, no misses. They have all 3 Infamous games, no misses. They have Ghost of Tsushima, no miss. They have Ghost of Yotei coming out, no miss. They rarely ever miss. They do.
I have only played Ghost of Tsushima, but you know what? I have so much faith in them from that.
What else is Sucker Punch? I think I'm missing a series. What else?
Sly Cooper.
I did say Sly Cooper.
Infamous.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's it. All the Infamous games, the Sly Cooper collection, and then Ghost of Tsushima, and soon Ghost of Yotei. They're owned by Sony. They're very slow moving, but they put out quality. They don't put out any bad games.
You say slow moving, but it's really only been by the time Ghost of Yotei. Yeah, I'm saying that right. I have to think about that for a second. This is, it will be 5 years-ish between Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei, which I don't think is, I mean, comparatively, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were 7 years apart, and they were the same map.
I mean more slow-moving as in, if you look at a Nintendo or Ubisoft, they have other IP in the background. Sucker Punch focuses on one IP at a time. One IP at a time, and they release every couple years. They're not...
Well, to be fair, Nintendo also has... when Nintendo's a bigger company than Sucker Punch.
Yeah, well, no, Sucker Punch is owned by Sony. Remember.
Right, but
So it's Sony.
I think I would compare Nintendo with I put Nintendo at the level of Sony. You're comparing one facet of Sony to the entirety of Nintendo.
I know. Better example is Ubisoft, I guess. Yeah. Ubisoft is a better example, even though I think Ubisoft is still much larger, but Ubisoft pumps out games like it's nobody's business.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't compare to EA because EA pumps out a game every day. like it's nobody's business and tries to get microtransactions. Besides the point.
I read somewhere the other day that they're canceling Sims 5 and they're just going to focus on Sims 4, and I thought about dying.
That sounds awful.
Not
Are they
laying
doing
down.
a Sims movie too?
Yeah, they're doing a Sims movie with Margot Robbie. Also, in other gaming news, tragic to me, once again, all the games that I've been excited to play are getting pushed back. Tales of the Shire. I kept trying to say Hobbit.
Oh, did that get pushed back?
Tales of the Shire, yeah, it was supposed to come out holiday 2024. It's gotten pushed back to 2025.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. There was no specific date for it to begin with, but we were supposed to get it within the next like couple months, and now it could be anytime in 2025. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But there's a lot of games to play in the meantime. I'm still working through Inquisition. We have in 3 days Until Dawn Remake comes out. I will be playing and reviewing that, so stay tuned for that. And then we have
Silent Hill
just
2.
a few days after that, we have Silent Hill 2 Remake. We'll be playing that as well. I'm actually going to try to stream that one as well. Then we have Veilguard at the end of the month and Life is Strange Double Exposure. We also have Mario Party Jamboree this month, don't we? Or Mario and Luigi Road Worship?
No, we have Mario Party Jamboree and Metaphor Fantasio under my belt this month.
So we've got a big bucket of games to play this month, and I will say with Veilguard releasing at the end of the month, I know personally we're going to be reviewing it before Assassin's Creed Shadows was meant to come out, but it's such a good game. I'm happy to have the extra time to play it without having to jump into Shadows.
I'm happy to get a small break for my wallet after 3 games this month and 1 game next month and a game last month, and yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, I've bought so many games, and I still have to buy Until Dawn Remake, Silent Hill Remake, Double Exposure, and Veilguard this month.
Yeah. Well, let's talk more about the state of play. I want to start with the bullshit. This is the main... No, I want to save that to the end because I think it's a longer discussion for how stupid it is. We'll talk about that later. They had the release date for Monster Hunter Wilds. A lot of people very excited for that. That's fine.
I know one person on this planet excited for it.
I know one as well, but it's not the same person.
I don't think so. I didn't think it was.
It's Juice. Juice is excited for it. So 2 people. We are getting free DLC for Astro Bot, which is exciting. Like
that is a good one. Oh, also, not to jump back to things that are happening now. Did you know the Starfield DLC released yesterday?
I didn't know Starfield was getting... I mean, it makes sense it did, but yeah, good job, Bethesda. Everyone's happy for... You're doing the thing with your
I saw
7 out of 10.
I learned about it through a Twitter post that said, like, it's crazy that nobody's talking about the Starfield DLC. This is the first I've heard of it. And I was like, oh, this is the first I've heard of it.
I didn't know it existed.
I was going to ask you if you had played it. It just came out yesterday, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody's playing it. Nobody knows
The only way I'm going to play it is if Xbox is like, we're just going to release this on PlayStation. Then I'm going to buy it and I'm going to play it again. That's the only way, though. I'm not getting Game Pass again.
Like, just curious. I'm sorry to interrupt the state of play, but like when you're talking about future DLC, I wanted to know if you knew about the DLC that was already released that I hadn't heard you mention or anybody else mention.
Kingdom Hearts is a better game.
Nobody's playing it. Nobody's playing it.
I got that clip playing in my head in the background now that Kingdom Hearts has more space exploration than Starfield.
I saw somebody post a photo of one of the Starfield planets, and the wrapping of the planet, instead of looking like a planet, it said something like, temporary placement, you should not be seeing this. Because like textures didn't load in properly or something.
You know what that... Okay, I've played Lethal Company once with 2 of our friends, and somebody... If you turn on the arachnophobia mode, instead of seeing giant spiders, you just see a big red bar that says the word spider in it, and it comes at you. And I think that is the funniest thing in the world. Same hat. Another game...
back to state of play.
Yeah, another big game. It's Tim Burton-esque type game called The Midnight Walk. It's a little light horror. It's a claymation animation. It might be something I can do for Halloween next year, so I might be interested in it.
It looked in line with Little Nightmares. If you're a big fan of Little Nightmares, it looked very like it had the same vibe and energy to it.
Uh, Hell is Us is another horror action game. Apparently this is the second time it's been announced, but it's a Souls-like game. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Power World's out on PS5. While we're talking about it, at the same time, that other piece of news we missed, Nintendo is suing Power World. And normally, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But Nintendo's kind of being a bunch of bullies because they filed patents after the game release and then sued them based off those patents. So, like, come on, guys.
I don't know. I agree Nintendo's being stupid, but like I feel like turnabout's fair play.
Oh,
The Power World
absolutely.
absolutely ripped off.
Oh, absolutely. But stand on those. If they were just standing on those morals, I'd be like, cool. That's fair. Don't file a patent just to be able to sue, though. That's a little petty.
They probably don't have enough of a claim to sue them otherwise.
They don't because the monster catching mechanic is not patented by them. A bunch of people have that, which is the main thing. So I don't know what else. And they don't have guns. So
Nintendo, you can't sue for this, okay? And this one, you have guns. You can beat the animals up and you can make them your slaves.
give Pikachu an AR-15 and then we'll talk.
Yeah, give him a gun. All right.
Anywho, we got Arc-Age Chronicles, which is apparently it's a cult classic online game that kind of failed, but I guess this is now a single player version in that universe. Okay. It's another Souls-like. Souls-likes are now like taking over, and it's kind of getting annoying if I'm being real. Lunar Remastered Collection, which is the PS1 RPGs, are being remastered. That's fine. Good for them. What else is interesting? Legacy of Kain.
There had to be a JRPG or two.
Huh?
There had to be a JRPG or two.
Oh, yeah. And a farming game. Hopefully, no, there was no... I don't think there was a farming game.
No? That's more of a Nintendo Direct type thing and less of a...
I have to see. Legacy of Kain 1 and 2 remastered are coming. It's another PS1 games. Hitman 3 VR. Fantasia Neo Dimension, another JRPG is coming. Is a tactical. The one of the most wild trailers. We already know Sonic X Shadow Generations is coming out. But pre-ordered DLC coming in December for the game is that you get the skin for Shadow from the movie coming up, and the voice will change to Keanu Reeves.
That's awesome.
It's a little goofy.
I like that. I like that goofiness, though. That's fun.
It's such an interesting one. Yeah, nothing really else. Fear the Spotlight is something I think you will play. Fear the Spotlight is like, huh?
Horror?
It is a PS1 inspired indie horror.
Ooh.
Like, I'm talking pixelated as hell, blocky textures and all. It looks like very, very like you. And we're getting DLC for Alan Wake 2. The Lake House expansion is coming out.
DLC for Alan Wake 2.
Huh?
This is the second DLC for Alan Wake 2.
This is the second DLC for Alan. I am learning this now. I am behind on my Alan Wake 2 lore.
At Summer Games Fest, they released the first one.
Oh, that's right. I do remember. We're getting new controllers and faceplates for PS5. The faceplates.
They're ugly.
You've already seen them.
I know. That's how I know. It's a safe bet.
The skins for the PS5 were specifically for the slim model. They did not show any for the fat model, so I do not know if we're getting those. Dynasty Warriors is getting a new game. Dynasty Warriors is one of those games that, like, if I play it, I know I will like it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And then we're getting a Fortnite controller. Those are the little things. The Fortnite controller it's hideous. It's real bad. Time. Huh? Go ahead.
The only thing I wish the State of Play had Resident Evil. I'm waiting. Resident Evil. It's been a bit.
I think we got one more year. I think you got to wait, or Game Awards.
I mean, it's been a year and a half since the release of Resident Evil 4 remake.
It has been that long.
It came out in March of 2023. Which is about a year and a half from when 8 came out.
Where's the time? Oh my god. Okay.
That was about a year and a half, not even a year and a half from when 3 came out. So a year and a half to 2 years is usually the maximum between Resident Evil games, and we haven't even started hearing about 9 or 5 or 1 or whatever they're doing next.
They're not going to remake 5 or 6. They're not going to do it. I'm already calling that.
I don't know, man. I've been hearing rumors that 5 is in the works.
I'm going to act like
I don't
it
know how
doesn't
they're gonna do it, but 5 is in the works. I heard 5 is in the works. I heard 1 is slated for the 30th anniversary, which happens to be the same year as my 30th birthday. So
Emily's
Resident
a
Evil
little
and I will
baby.
turn 30 together. And then I don't know about 9. All I know is it's supposed to be like an open world game, which sounds so weird. Probably with Chris or Liam.
We did already talk about the good news about Ghost of Yote. I think that's already done.
Yeah,
We talked
that
about
was the best news. That was like the peak.
Now let's talk about the bottom of the barrel that Sony hyped up for no reason. A game that released in 2017 is getting a remaster. Horizon Zero Dawn is getting remastered. Why? It already looks good on the PS5. It did not need a remaster work. If you already own the game, it will only cost you $10 to get the remaster version on your PS5. Here's the bullshit. It was $20 for the digital version on PS5. So instead of paying $60 for a new, the remaster version on disc or whatever, you buy $20 for the digital version and then the $10 upcharge, right? Fine. Until Sony upped the price of the digital version. So you couldn't do that. Which is more evidence why we need physical media, because you can buy a physical copy for like $10, but
you gotta love capitalism. Wasn't it also Sony who yesterday put out a new homepage that was just a giant ad and then took it down like 2 hours later and was like, whoops.
Yeah,
that was a mistake after they got slammed for it.
I do believe it was a mistake. It was the whole reason that PSN was down last night.
I don't know. I feel like they were testing something.
Yeah, and they're like, people don't like advertisements. Dang.
Turns out people don't like when you actually make 95%. Like, I was already frustrated when we shifted from the PS4 to the PS5, and like the game icons went from being like medium to being little itty bitty. But now if you're gonna make the rest of the screen not my video games, then you're gonna make it an advertisement. You're gonna hear from me, Sony.
Actually, this is a message to both Sony and Nintendo right now, because I think Xbox actually still lets you do this. This is specifically to the two game companies that Emily and I endorse and use. Give us themes. We want themes back.
Everybody, we have to take a break from podcasting and newsing.
Oh, sorry, Bean's here. Bean, what are your thoughts on Ghost of Yote?
He's pumped. Yeah.
Bean, what can you tell me about the current climate between Nintendo and Sony right now?
He says they're both kind of bitches.
What?
He says they're both kind of bitches.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. Good take, Bean. Good take. Bean, wet food or dry food?
He's actually more of a dry food man.
Interesting.
He likes dry food too, but I've given him wet food with tuna in it, and he's not a fan.
Bean is the weirdest cat in the world, but I love that cat, even though he hated me the first time I met him.
I think he'd like you now. He's gotten so brave.
We'll find out in December.
Say hi to the people. Okay, so bye. You can come sit in my lap now.
Okay, Bean.
Oh, he's gonna crawl on the desk.
We have one more thing to go through, and this is something I didn't watch anything of, which is Tokyo Game Show. I was mainly only going to watch the Atlas Sega announcements, but nothing really came of it other than pushing Metaphor ReFantazio and Sonic X Shadow Generations. More Monster Hunter Wilds was shown. Like a Dragon's getting a new game, and it looks like it's Like a Dragon Yakuza Pirates, which is
Yakuza Pirates.
Like a Dragon series has been in a roll. What's this called? Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of things in one title.
I kind of want to get into Yakuza because I heard it's so absurd and wacky that I would love it.
Bean's one step away from tearing down the green screen.
I can see Bean, but nobody else can.
Maybe don't. It's just the thing. Maybe don't. Hey.
Fatal Fury is getting another game, which that's for all you old fighting heads, SNK fans from the 80s, arcade games. nothing for us. What is this? Nightmare Operator is a new type of survival horror game that feels equal part Ghostwire Tokyo and Resident Evil 4.
Ooh.
I'm going to send you this link because this looks interesting enough for you. There you go. It's set in Japan. It's very polygonal.
I'm sorry, like the image that came up for it was the Metal Gear Solid remake, which I can't believe isn't the first thing we talked about.
Oh yeah, I mean that game's already been announced. We knew it was coming, but we got more information. And then that's the next one on the slides that I'm looking at. Yeah, it's still coming out later this year. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I have never played any Metal Gear Solid games. I know, sue me. Sorry, Kojima. I will be better.
I have in fact played Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater.
You play only the third one?
Yeah, it's the one my friend sat me down and handed me the controller and said, I have a gun that will instantly kill everyone with one bullet. Will you play? And I said, I shall.
If I say Psycho Mantis, does that mean anything to you? Because that's the one thing about Metal Gear Solid I know.
Is it the guy who like sends all the bugs at you or something and everyone that you kill comes back at the end of the game?
No. I mean, maybe. I know specifically from the first game, Kojima did something goofy where it tells you what to do on the back of the game box, but you have to move your controller from port 1 to port 2 before you fight him, or else he reads your memory card and you can't beat him.
Oh, this is from the first game, yeah. I have not played this. I've only played the third one.
Yeah. I've played none of them. But I know that because that's one of the biggest pieces of gaming history from the PS1 because it was so revolutionary at the time.
Speaking of Kojima, he got signed to a movie studio. He's going to make movies. They're also still working on the Death Stranding with A24, which I think is going to be good.
Interesting.
Don't eat things. I feel like we should move on to our main topic.
I just got 2 more.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 4 more, but it's going to be quick. New JRPG Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven by Square Enix. Dune Awakening is a game coming out. Path of Exile 2, which is an isometric game. Phantom Blade Zero, we've seen that before. It's another Souls-like. It's whatever. And that's it. That's all of them. Also, there was DLC for Persona 3 that I haven't got yet and I haven't touched yet, but it's fine.
My cat is biting me.
Oh, little bean. This was M's idea, so I'm gonna let M take it from here because she has a lot to say.
I do have a lot to say. Bean, you gotta get down for this one, bud. I have thoughts. You have to let go of the hand. You have to let go of the hand. You have to let go of my hand. Thank you. Okay. I've been released from Bean.
She's free. Oh, nope, he's still there. I see his tail.
Still here. He's sitting angrily. So tonight our main topic that we're talking about is Nintendo and its story power. If you've been here for the last few Nintendo games we've reviewed, which has been Princess Peach's Showtime, I reviewed Mario Odyssey, we did Tears of the Kingdom. This was also a complaint with Breath of the Wild. And I feel like there's a few others.
Origami
King, that's a fantastic one to include. It seems like the longer Nintendo has gone on, the less and less it has prioritized story. And making a story that is emotional and powerful and has actual lore and meaning and depth to it. Hey Bean, maybe we don't eat the fake plants, just okay? And that feels like a big shift because when I was a kid, or even not even just when I was a kid, but when I was younger, picking up games like Skyward Sword or even Twilight Princess, which isn't my favorite personally, but Twilight Princess has a pretty decent story in there.
Ew, gross. I'm sorry.
I know, it's got a story to it. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, the original Paper Mario 64, Ocarina of Time even. I'm not here to say Ocarina.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What?
No, you weren't finished. I'm sorry. That was my bad.
I was just going to say, Ocarina, I'm not here to say Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game ever made, but even for what it had, it still had a pretty decent story and a pretty fleshed out story.
We could say Ocarina had a good story. I will admit Ocarina has a very, very good story. Even Mario Sunshine had a story though, like a decently written
Mario
story.
Galaxy had a
Mario
pretty good story.
Galaxy. Mario 64 didn't, but that
No.
yeah. It didn't need to.
Mario 64 was more like a tech demo.
And it was a
Or,
great
like,
one.
it was a phenomenal tech demo for the future. So I guess my thought when I was thinking of this was more and more I felt like every Nintendo game that I was playing or I was reviewing felt like my big complaint was, well, I didn't care for the story much. Well, there wasn't much story. Well, the story was really, and I feel like not even just less of a story, but the stories have been very, this is gonna sound silly because Nintendo is a family game company, but it feels like they've been very,
Safe
and also very, childlike. Just very like silly, goofy. Like for example, the story of Mario Odyssey is once again Bowser kidnaps Peach. He's gonna force her into a marriage, and you have to go to the worlds to get like soup, and the cake, and the flowers, and you might sit there and be like, well, it's a Mario game, it's for kids. What do you want? But even if you look at again, like Blake and I mentioned, like Mario Galaxy, or any of the Paper Mario games except for the most recent one, they still cater to children. I was still young enough to understand the story when I was a kid, but it still had these very powerful emotional moments, and these very exciting moments, and these very like intricate stories. I mean, even just looking at Paper Mario 64, which was one of the earlier ones, the story of saving the stars of Star Haven to like stop Bowser, and I just feel like we've dumbed it down a lot. I talked about in my Mario Odyssey review the himboification of Bowser and how Bowser has turned from villain into like this kind of stupid joke that we make fun of, and can't really be taken seriously as a villain anymore, in my personal opinion.
I feel like he's turned into Wile E. Coyote, if anything.
Kind of, except he says stupid things.
Yeah.
And so it just wanted. I know there's a quote somewhere, and I'm gonna try to find it so I don't talk out of turn or make something up. But I swear there was a quote where somebody at Nintendo made a comment about how they don't need a story because it's just a Mario game, and like.
It was Miyamoto, which is shocking.
Yeah, it was Miyamoto. He said games don't need story. Okay, to be fair, he said not every game needs to have a heavy focus on story, which I don't feel like is the one I found originally. Especially when you talk about, looking again at the Paper Mario series as an example, not even just limiting the story, but limiting the creativity that's allowed with like the types of toads that they can have and the types of species that they can have in the world. It again feels like they're limiting the creativity in the story and the characters in the world and just formulating it into a very generic story, a generic world, generic characters for the sake of you can still have fun while playing it because the controls that we put on are kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree for some of them that they don't need they don't need a heavy story or an intricate story. And I think we both agree there. Mario Wonder.
Yeah, we talked about that with Astro Bot last time.
Yeah,
how that didn't have a great story, but it didn't really need much. But even Astro Bot made me cry.
Yeah. Mario Wonder didn't need a super deep story. Astro Bot didn't need a super deep story. There are games that don't need it. But there are games, more so Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, that desperately need them. And even though me and Emily agree Breath of the Wild has the better story, even Breath of the Wild story is just kind of, it's fine. It's there, I think like there are a few examples and they get swept under the rug because when you think of these games, you don't necessarily think Nintendo, and Emily's going to have an oh shoot moment because she didn't think of this. Fire Emblem. I think they put a lot of focus on their story stuff with those things, but it's not enough.
Also like a JRPG, which in that case, I don't know. There's something about that genre that it is specifically about story. Like what would you have if you didn't like?
Couldn't you technically call Paper Mario a JRPG? Or I guess he's Italian. Is it an IRPG?
It's a PRPG. P for plumber.
Oh my god.
I think Fire Emblem, that's a good example. It's not enough. I'm with you that it's not enough.
But I think they're putting their focus too much for story on those types of things.
And this is something we've also talked about. It feels like a lot of the Switch stuff we see on the directs and stuff is like farming sim or that kind of thing, which is fine. It just has felt recently within the last few years, or even within this generation of Nintendo games and IP, that we've kind of lost the plot a little bit. Lost it somewhere along the way, and we haven't picked it back up. And this was, something that I felt very heavily, and Blake and I talked about this severely in our Tears of the Kingdom review, because that was a multiple episode review, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I feel like I set myself up for failure when I was talking to Blake, because I had so much excitement about where the story could go and what it could do and the lore that it could bring in, kind of comparing it to a Skyward Sword type situation where we learn more about the origins of the world and these new species and all this going, and then in the end it didn't do anything.
No.
It didn't have any deeper meaning or any lore to it in any way, shape, or form. They introduced a new species, the Zonai, that we learn absolutely nothing about, for the record. And we will never do anything with again. We got 2 of them. They did nothing, pretty much nothing. They barely mattered, and we will never see them again. I almost guarantee you we will never see or hear from the Zonai again. And that's frustrating because you care, and Nintendo wants you to care, but they don't care, it feels like,
You know what's insane? And you'll see more of this. Echoes of Wisdom did more for the different races and people of the Zelda universe than Tears of the Kingdom did.
Already feel like that, but I also, and again, I don't want to turn this into an Echo Wisdom thing because I haven't played enough. It does heavily feel like a Tears of the Kingdom / Breath of the Wild. Aside from like the mechanics of the gameplay, they very clearly stuck with the character designs, the world designs, the music designs of Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild.
Get deeper in. Though the map, I will say this, the map almost identical. To Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild Hyrule.
It really feels like, and this is something I'm a little worried about, I enjoy Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild. I don't want it to be the new baseline going forward. Just like I wouldn't have wanted, Twilight Princess to be what they set every game off of now. And like even the sound effects of like the characters talking and like clicking through, I was like, the whole vibe, despite the art difference, is Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I wish Zelda had spoken. She speaks. I wish Zelda made more noises. She speaks. She's not Link. She's not mute.
My favorite thing is literally it's your little companion is like, tell them what you saw, and she doesn't say any words. She just moves her hands.
Another thing that frustrates me though, because they have specifically gone to lengths recently in Echoes of Wisdom and in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild to mention Link's lack of a voice and his lack of speaking and talking as kind of like a, hey, get it? Because Link doesn't talk, or actually incorporating that into the story. But then they did the same with Zelda. And it's like, you finally have a different protagonist. Let her speak. Or at least let her use some more voice. Because I get not everyone these aren't the cutscenes and the dialogue aren't spoken and voice acted the way they are in Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, but right. Give her something, man.
Yeah, but back on topic, because I'm not gonna, if I say more it's gonna be spoilery.
Yeah, we can't talk about Echoes of Wisdom anymore. This is next week, but
yeah, and we both have to finish it, and I don't want to spoil the actual good stuff, the meat and potatoes, if you will. Meat and potatoes. I'm gonna start saying that more. I like that. That's fun. But no, I don't. The problem is I don't have a rebuttal, because I just sat here just now and I thought about let me think of every Switch game that Nintendo has published. You have Pokemon. They tried to do a story for Scarlet and Violet and it was decent, but the game ran like crap. So does that count? No. Sword and Shield is. I don't want to think about Sword and Shield. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are remakes. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl are remixes. Those don't count. What else? We talked about the Mario games. We talked about Luigi's Mansion. Doesn't really have a story. Luigi's Mansion 3. It's the same old Luigi's Mansion, except you're in a hotel this time. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Hey, dang it! Oh, that game would have a story.
Dude, give me story in Mario Kart 9. Give me a story in Mario Kart 9.
And the frustrating part about all of this for me is it's not even the lack of story. I mean, it is a lack of story.
Yes.
But it's the frustration of knowing that they're capable, right? They're capable of creating an emotional, moving, powerful story. Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild had those moments in there. The beginning of Tears of the Kingdom, the beginning of the Master Sword in Tears of the Kingdom, the final fight scene in Tears of the Kingdom. Those are all very powerful moments where I think about them, I'm like, oh, that was so, so good. But they just choose not to do any of that in the rest of the game, in the rest of their IPs. They just choose not to. Even in Mario, they're capable of doing it. Mario Galaxy was not that long ago, and it had a pretty good story. Like, it had more emotional depth than any Mario game that has come out recently. And there's still they can do it. They can do it. They're just choosing not to.
I'm looking now. I'm truly trying to find the one thing. I'm looking through my whole collection. That's not Nintendo. The harder part is looking for Nintendo specific, because all my good story games on Switch are not Nintendo specific.
If you go back through the lifespan of Nintendo and all of its consoles, there are really good story games in there.
There are a lot of the N64 games, even games like GoldenEye. Nothing crazy, but good.
They had a lot. They brought you into the game, and like, even if you just like, okay, let's keep on Zelda because that's been our main example so far.
Yes,
Zelda and
it's the biggest example. Like, that is their
biggest example, I feel. Even if you just jump back to, I know it wasn't popularly received, but 2 games ago, right? Because 2 mainline games ago, right? Because you have Tears of the Kingdom, before that was Breath of the Wild, and before Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
You just jump 2 mainline Zelda games back. You had a story that involved the lore of the world. It involved the creation of the world. It involved the goddess. It involved time travel and the different, like, parallel timelines that were going on. Impa being younger in one, older in the other. You had the souls of the swords. Girahim being the soul of Demise's sword. Fi being the soul of Link's sword. You find out that the Master Sword has a soul, which is crazy. A creature inside of it living who has been guiding you the whole time. You find the origins of Hyrule. The founding of Hyrule. I mean, there's more. You have side characters who are helpful and impactful, who actually do things. Groose having his own character plot throughout all of it. Zelda gets, like, summoned and, like, almost sucked up into a demon. Princess Peach in the end of Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door gets possessed by a demon. And you have these really big, powerful story moments. There's so much lore and story and complexity to these worlds that they've created. And then you jump to Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and it's basically like watching Goofy in Kingdom Hearts. It's the scene, but Zelda's in the background for some reason, and you have the same cutscene 4 times.
Specifically, Tears of the Kingdom is the most guilty of the same cutscene 4 times.
4 or 5 times with the same champions from the first game, with the same worlds as the first game, and the plot is Zelda goes back in time, meets a king and a queen who do absolutely nothing for her except take her to tea. That was, like, one cutscene I had to watch was Zelda having tea with these people.
Yep.
And then the next cutscene's like, and Zelda fought in the war with them. And then in the background you see Zelda, and you're like, she doesn't look like she belongs there.
Actually, where is my Tears of the Kingdom prequel where Zelda's fighting in this war and we play as Zelda? That's the Zelda game I want.
Give me, even like just the small stuff in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, for instance, right, they brought back this was my big gripe. They brought back Ganondorf, which was a big deal. We have not seen Ganondorf, the man, since Twilight Princess. It had been an outrageous amount of time. They brought him back. They gave him absolutely zero explanation or motivation for why he was taking over the world. They just simply relied on he's evil.
Power.
Of course he wants to take over the world and get power. And it's like, you could give me a little something. Like, I would have taken a sentence or two, like in Wind Waker, of the king being like, oh, the sands blew over Hyrule and they gave it blessings, and then they blew over the desert. My people died. We suffered because of the wind. Like, just a little something to tell me why he's doing what he's doing. And they never do. Nothing.
Nintendo literally said, "Here's Matt Mercer as the voice actor. That should be enough for you. Good luck. Have fun."
He's hot. We made Ganondorf hot. Have fun.
Then and on top of that, because once again, Zelda's the best example. We have other villains who we can do so much more with. I mentioned this to Emily. Emily's not familiar because Echoes of Wisdom is her first isometric Zelda game. I call them 2D. That's gonna be an argument for next week whether this is a 2D game or not. But Vati is a huge Zelda villain who is from Four Swords Adventure and Minish Cap, and also regular Four Swords. Vati is a big deal. You have Zant, who we've only used once. I feel like we can do more with Zant.
Much more with Zant. Also, with the whole Tears of the Kingdom, like going back in time to the society that existed before and had all these technologies. First of all, we pretty much just replaced the Sheikah that existed in Breath of the Wild in a ridiculous way. Like, in a way that was so outrageously funny, going from the Sheikah slate in the first game to, like, the Prua pad. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they acted like the Sheikah didn't exist, really.
They acted like the Sheikah weren't there to give them all the technology that they need. Crazy, but whatever. If they really needed, like, a species that existed before in a society that had evolved technologically to give them this, again, Skyward Sword had that. They had the little robots. They had the robots already. They didn't need to make a brand new species for Tears of the Kingdom to just throw them out the window. I'm just saying, there was a lot they could have done. I'm so sick of Nintendo creating cool things and then throwing them out the window and not caring anymore.
That's one thing, actually, that Emily and I talked about. I don't think we talked about it on podcast separately, how Nintendo actually cut Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild from the main timeline. They're their own separate
timeline now.
Echoes of Wisdom, I think, will be connected to the real timeline. But yeah, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are their own timeline, completely separate. Nothing to do.
Fascinating to me about Echoes of Wisdom was that Zelda didn't know who Link was.
Which that happens. That's a lot in a lot of isometric Zelda games. That's the case.
It was just funny. I was like, oh, yay, Link's come to save her. It felt like the end of the game, and then she was like, huh. See, hello. I'll just take his cake and leave. Thanks, dude. Like, thanks for saving me. That sucks that I haven't you. Bye.
Did I send you the photo? It's Zelda putting together a table. It says, "I'm coming to save you, baby girl," with Link in the background crying.
No, yeah, you didn't see that. Are you talking about the one where he's like drowning?
I think so. Did I send it to you, or did you send it to me?
Send that one to me, but I saw one, the same photo, but it was like the saving Hyrule, and then somebody's like, Link's literally drowning in the background, and she's like, "This ain't about him."
I just sent it to you.
Show it to our beautiful. Oh, well, it's not on your computer. You probably can't.
I can just show the camera. I don't mind.
Oh, this is good.
I'm coming, baby girl. This is perfect. I love it.
I love it. I do like that other people in the world, though, are like, you gotta find Link. He's our neighbor. We're worried about our neighbor. He left. He hasn't been home yet.
Who the hell is Link?
That's Link's hood. And she's like, who?
Is that what that mysterious man is?
Who? I did take his jacket, but you know what? Don't worry about
it. He's doing fine. He's doing fine.
He fell into a bit of trouble, but it's okay.
On topic, I don't think games like Mario, like 2D Mario games, they don't really need them. Keep them simple. That's fine. 3D Mario games, you can mess around a little bit more. You definitely can. Not super necessary, but you can mess around more.
You should.
Yeah, you should. But
if you want me to have any incentive to play the video game, like, because that's the difference to me personally, is like the 2D Marios for the most part, a lot of them you can play with your friends. The like co-op experiences. Mm-hmm. It's like a Mario Kart. I don't need it because I'm having fun with my friends. But if you want me to be committed to going to all those little worlds and finding all the little stars, this is again why ASTRO BOT was so much more successful in my opinion at creating emotional connection, was because you were saving actual people instead of like tangible stars or moons that did nothing.
You're saving your little bot friends.
And then I felt progress every time I went back to like my little home base and I saw all the friends that I had saved and all the things that I had set up for them. Whereas Mario was like, what do you mean the Odyssey doesn't look any different? But you
bought this sticker and you plastered it on the Odyssey.
I could give you a rug for 50 points if you want. Is that good? Is that what you wanted?
If you're gonna focus on story for games like Fire Emblem, then you need to release more Fire Emblems. Like
Please give me another Fire Emblem. I loved Three Houses. If they came out with a new one, I think I would get into it again. I had so much fun with
Emily,
that game.
let me introduce you to the entire back catalog of Fire Emblem because it's been around for decades.
I know. There's also the one with like the Coke Pepsi person, but like they were so ugly because they were Coke Pepsi. I didn't want to play it.
Yeah, they're red blue. They're the Colgate toothpaste. Man.
Also, can I just say this, Nintendo, and I say this with all the love and kindness in my heart. And no, I say this as someone who loves cute outfits. Cute outfits are not a substitute for story. You cannot give me outfits in Mario and Zelda and expect I will forgive that you have no story. It lessens the blow.
It depends on the outfit. I've seen Emily get really giddy over a cute outfit in a game.
I do love it. I don't want them gone, but I'd like a story with it. You can't like throw pretty things at me and be like,
were there cosmetics in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. I mean,
they're not anything crazy, but like your ship, you can get different cosmetics for the exterior of your ship. You can't do anything on the inside. Your speeder, you can get different cosmetics for that, different charms. You have outfits, and like those outfits have different aesthetics, but then they also have different like purposes. Like some give you like stealth bonuses. Others, there's like an Imperial uniform that you can wear that will help you sneak. Nyx has a ton of cute little outfits that he can get and wear. So not anything crazy, but enough to keep you happy.
Give Emily more cute outfits and a good story. Also, it's my turn to say this. Put Wind Waker on the Switch. Thank you.
Just do it. What are you even doing?
We're almost there. We're almost there.
Also, can I say something consistency-wise that is bothering me?
Sure.
Because we went from Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild to Echoes of Wisdom. We talked about how very similar the worlds are. The fact that when you get to the Gerudo, they're like, she's not one of us. You can't come in the buildings. We don't like you. And I'm like,
The Gerudo is supposed to like all women.
Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild told me all I had to do was be a female to get in. Thank you. Second of all, I'm Princess Zelda. Can I like, are the Gerudo I mean, like, I know they said the Gerudo were also told to hunt them as well, but like, Safe Harbor in a neighboring kingdom.
You haven't finished the Gerudo. There's an explanation for it. I can't say anything, but there is an explanation for it. You'll find out when you play
Right.
more. There's an explanation for why they're being that way.
I'm just saying, they told me in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I just had to be a pretty girl. And now I'm a pretty girl finally, and they're like, we still don't like you.
That is one thing that Breath of the Wild did right. Link got to dress up and live his best life.
You sure did. You sure did. Honestly, that's the best, is when you can have fun outfits, but then the outfits actually do stuff, which like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom did, but then we just talked about Star Wars Outlaws, how they also had like fun outfits that could give you like buffs and things like that.
In conclusion, Nintendo is going one direction and Sony's going the other direction. Sony is mainly focusing on story-based games, and Nintendo's steering more and more away from them.
Which is, it's a rough one. It's a rough run, especially when Nintendo's claim to fame is its Mario platformers, and
Zelda's.
ASTRO BOT exists now, and he's pretty cool.
I'll be honest, give me more ASTRO BOT before you give me more Mario, and this is coming from me, the Mario guy.
Yeah, like, Nintendo, I love you. But, like, if your Zelda games aren't going to be that great from now on, and you don't give me an Animal Crossing, except for once every, like, 7 years or so, why are you here?
Miyamoto?
What are you doing?
Miyamoto, I know you're old now, and you're ready to retire. Let people be creative. Stop gatekeeping them.
Stop, like, protecting... I feel like it's, like, a thing of, like, protecting IP, right? Like, you want to not have anyone do anything with it that you don't approve of, but like, dang, at this point even Disney is letting like their characters have more fun than Nintendo is letting its characters.
On that note, we have a lot of reviews coming up, a lot of deep reviews. Next week will be our Echoes of Wisdom review. It was supposed to be today, but you know, things happen. I really didn't get to play this weekend.
I'm not far enough in the game, and you know what, guys, there are some reviewers out there who would say, I've played 2 hours. That's enough to review a game.
It's not.
Not for us. I want to at least have most of it done by the time I tell you whether or not it's worth your time and money.
I will warn you, when we get to my Metaphor ReFantazio review, I will not be done.
Well, that's like 100+ hours.
I will not be done. I still haven't
probably
tried
won't be
the
done
demo.
with Veilguard by the time we review it either. But I feel like as long as you've played like maybe 50% of the game or like a decent chunk to know the story and how the mechanics work, it's just frustrating when I hear people be like, yeah, I played 2 hours. It's a bad game. And I'm like, okay. Well, that actually happened to me recently. I was listening to, I won't name names, but I was listening to a video game podcast I really enjoy and love, and I was listening to them review Star Wars Outlaws, and I was really excited because I love Star Wars Outlaws, and I wanted to know if they liked it. And one of them said, I only played 2 hours of it. It was a bad game. And I was like, okay. Except you didn't leave the tutorials, so...
Is it your 3 boys?
It's the podcast that they have with other people. It's not the 3 of them.
Oh, okay. Well, so it doesn't
matter. 2 of them have a podcast with 2 of their friends. And one of the main boys, who I love, my number 1 boy, was the one who only played 2 hours, and he broke my heart.
Oh, so it does matter then. It is Mr. Sprite Pepsi himself.
Yeah. Yep. Only played 2 hours of the video game that I love and cherish, and then decided it was a bad game.
I still find it wild that man has a kid, because every time I hear him speak, I'm like, this man doesn't have kids. He's a big kid himself. That is so interesting.
But yeah, we're not gonna. We try to at least play most of the games before we tell you whether or not you should spend your time and money on them.
Yeah. Don't take our word for it though. If you think we're wrong, let us know down in the comments down below.
We often are. We often are wrong. Except for I'm never wrong. If I didn't like a game, it's a bad game.
We know that's not true. Emily's wrong a lot. Like saying that Echoes of Wisdom is a 3D Zelda game.
Here's the great thing about game reviews. You can never be wrong. If you played the game, if you liked it, you're right. If you didn't like it, you're right.
Yeah.
Your opinion.
Remember, the best game of all time is your favorite game.
No matter how bad other people say it is, no matter how bad the reviewers say it is, no matter what, it's the best game because it brought you the most amount of fun. And that's what's important.
The only time that
that's why Assassin's Creed Unity is the best Assassin's Creed game.
You stop. Yup. See, the only time that there's wrong or right is when Emily and I are speaking to each other, because Emily is always wrong and we always fight.
Record. I actually don't like Unity. I don't want people to walk me through this thing.
I need to make that You didn't play Unity.
I didn't play Unity. I just knew Blake hated it. I wanted to throw it out there.
Syndicate
is my favorite Assassin's Creed.
So much Unity, and I wanted to vomit. On that note, we're gonna go to After Party. Next week will be our Echoes of Wisdom review. And then 2 weeks after that, no. Then the week after that will be Emily playing Silent Hill 2 for the review. And then the week after that, I will have a double review, one of them featuring my wife for Mario Party Jamboree and Metaphor ReFantazio.
And then after that, we have Until Dawn Remake.
And
then Veilguard.
And then Mario.
And then Double Exposure.
It's
gonna be a busy month, kid. Stick with us.
I'm very skeptical.
We got a lot to do.
I'm very skeptical for Mario and Luigi Brothers ship in November, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Hey, tell me if it's got a good story. From what I hear, Nintendo's not very good at that recently.
People love those games, so I guess we'll see. On that note,
also Nintendo. Wait, I want to make one more note before we part ways.
Yeah.
And this has a little bit to do with story, a little bit to just do with me personally. Nintendo, I'm begging you to give me a companion that I can love.
I'm trying to think.
I love Nyx from Star Wars Outlaws so much, and it made me realize it's feeling that like absence in my life of actually liking a companion that has to follow me throughout the entire game and tell me what to do.
I mean, you have one in Echoes.
Try is fine.
And he creates a whole bunch of other little companions for you.
Try is fine. There's Olivia from Paper Mario Origami King who is Garbo. There's the hat from Mario Odyssey.
Hey, you be nice to Cappy.
Cappy is not that great.
You be nice to Cappy. Flood is better, though. Flood is better from Sunshine.
I just like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. You didn't have companions anymore. They got rid of them. Give me someone I can enjoy spending my video game time with. Because I know, again, a lot of people didn't like V, but dang did I cry when she got sucked back into the sword.
And dang did
I cry when she appeared in Breath of the Wild for like 2 seconds. So give me companions I can enjoy again, because Nyx knocks every single one of them out of the water.
I'm going to take your word for it, because I'm not going to play Star Wars Outlaw until it becomes like a $20 game.
I like just had a heart attack. I thought you said you decided you were never going to play it.
Oh, no. I'm waiting until it's like a $20 game, which I probably won't have to wait.
Is it not $20 yet? Is it still not $20?
I want to see. Like hold on.
It should be $20 now. It's not. You can get it on CD keys for $46.
Yeah. I'm not buying digital. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Yeah, it hasn't gone on sale yet.
Yeah,
any day now.
It's been out a month. It's been out
any day now. If you know, if I know Ubisoft the way I know Ubisoft, day now.
I missed a bit of news about Stellar Blade and its DLC getting mixed with Nier Automata, which is very exciting. But we'll talk about that in after party. So if you want to be part of these after parties, you got to come to the live on YouTube or on Twitch. Usually on Wednesdays. Today's on Tuesday because Emily has things to do tomorrow.
I'm leaving for Washington D.C.
I wasn't gonna dox you. She did it herself.
I think you can find me if you hear the fact that I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow, and you decide to get your butt to Washington, D.C. tomorrow, and you manage to find me within the city of Washington, D.C. and come up and talk to me, I'll be so impressed. It will mean we have reached a level of fame I didn't know we had.
That's
and I'll be a little impressed and scared at the same time. So you know what? Y'all can know I'm in Washington, D.C.
And if you somehow find her and you watch the video on YouTube, that's not possible. The episode doesn't go live till Fridays. Whoop. If you want to be part of these conversations, make sure to come to the after parties. You can find me at twitch.tv/The Bearded Blake Show. Now, schedule update from Sundays to Tuesdays. And Emily, whenever she feels like it.
I actually, hear my words, I have moved my office space. I have more streaming availability now. I am going to be streaming the Silent Hill 2 remake. I've never played a Silent Hill game in my life aside from PT. PT was one of my greatest gaming experiences of all time, if you know anything about me. So we will be streaming, maybe not all of it, but at least the beginning and the first few chunks of Silent Hill 2 remake when it comes out. So please join me. It'll be fun.
I will be lurking because I'm a big baby. Okay, bye everyone. After party time. Bye everyone. Have a wonderful time. Goodbye. Mirahan, welcome in, dude. Welcome to the podcast side.
Good to hear from you. Get to chat with you again. I'm not beating you. I'm really gonna play Silent Hill 2 remake on stream.
Mirahan made one comment that I agree with. I want more Daisy lore.
He's so right, though.
He's
right?
so valid.
And that's what I feel like Nintendo's gotten so bad about, is like protecting their IP so much that they're just too afraid to use them at all. Like, they don't use Daisy in a lot. They don't use Waluigi. They just, like, I feel like they've just put so many characters in the vault because they don't want to tarnish them in any way.
The last time I remember Daisy being in a important role in a normal Mario game, single player Mario game, is Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. It's backwards.
Well, which one did you want? The Blake is wrong or the Blake is upsetting me? I'm not sure which one you felt more, G. Did you feel like he was wrong or did you feel like he was upsetting you more?
It's probably upsetting because I didn't say anything that you disagreed with.
And then I'll hold up the sign that you feel best. But both at this point, okay.
What's the explanation? What was I wrong about? We didn't disagree on anything.
I'm not sure.
Oh, you just follow orders?
When I was saying I'm right about everything.
When you lied.
And we disagreed on stuff, you were wrong technically.
when you lied. I sent Emily a Instagram reel either earlier today or yesterday that says it's been about 5 minutes. When I realized I haven't bothered my friend for no apparent reason. No, I haven't bullied my friend for no apparent reason that day.
Sums us up very nicely.
I haven't bullied her in about a week. I'm on a roll right now.
Oh, that's because I haven't been around the last week because life has been chaos. So I don't know if you can take credit for that one.
I'd be kind of a jerk if I bullied you.
just a little bit. I am actually so excited, guys. I've gotten a lot farther into Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm having a really good time with it. I'm not very good at the video game, if I'm being quite frank. And I'm a little overwhelmed with how much there is, but I'm still really excited to try to get most of it done before the Veilguard comes out, and I'm really excited about the Veilguard.
I will eventually play Dragon Age Inquisition. Today is not that day. Today is not
Spin
that
the block on villains. I'm kind of over just needing to validate the evil. Let them be evil just because. I'm okay. Here's my thing. If you like told me a character was evil for like just that they are evil, like something that jumps to mind is like Vanitas from Kingdom Hearts. I don't feel the need to validate that evil because it literally just exists out of darkness. Like, what does he have in them?
They give him a reason too. Like the reason is he is the pure darkness.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense to me. I don't need them to be like, well, he had a motive. But I feel like in the Zelda scenario, when you could just have a Ganon that is like, what's the one from Chaos, not Chaos. Who's the Ganon in Calamity Ganon?
Calamity.
In Breath of the Wild, who is simply just a being out in the world, or you have I mean, they have examples of Ganon and villains who didn't need to have motivation because they were simply like this primordial evil that had come back at the time it was supposed to come back. But when you bring a man in who is from a culture and like he's from a culture that has a history and has like there's more to it than just saying, well, I mean, like the fact that the Gerudo followed Ganondorf and like left the king. There has to be a reason for it, right? Like, why did, aside from him just being the man, the only boy that we have born in 100 years, I guess we just have to do what he says, but some of them went with Ganon, some of them didn't go with Ganon. The champions didn't go with Ganon, one of them was a Gerudo. So why did they do that? Also, again, he doesn't have much of an origin in any of the games besides being evil, but, like, I'm just asking for a little bit of something, just, like, even a sentence or two.
When Emily just said, when you bring a man in, I couldn't hold in my laughter. When you bring in a man.
You have to come. But I think that's the point, right? Is he's not just a primordial evil. He's just not something that exists out of darkness. They made him a human being that is part of a group of people, that is leading a group of people, that he is, there's politics at play. There's just, I feel like,
but there's
or
also
just tell me it's just he wants the power. I don't know. Give me something.
I mean, technically they did give you something with Skyward Sword. He's a reincarnation of Demise.
Destined to like be reincarnated and try to kill Zelda and Link. Sure. I don't know. Even just give me a sentence of him being like, I crave the power or something like that. But I don't know.
I crave
Make him a character. I feel like you don't need to have a good motivation for being evil, but I feel like you need to make him a good character. I can draw that line at all. If that makes sense in any way.
I can hear him. I can hear him.
But do you see what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to have like a strong motivation. He doesn't have to be, but he still needs to be a decent character and a well-developed character, in my opinion. And you can have well-developed characters and well-written characters who don't have motivations for really why they're doing what they're doing. They just feel like it.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's one of those.
I don't know why I've never mentioned this before. Ganondorf has a weird affinity for hands in this game, in Tears of the Kingdom. It's a weird love for hands.
Because of all the little hands.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's kind of gross.
Hey.
Meow. Meow. Meow.
Here. Come talk to chat.
Why are you so grumpy, Bean? A little fluff.
Tell them your woes. Tell them your worries.
Bean, outside or litter box?
He's a little afraid of the outside still. He likes to go out and explore for like a minute, and then anytime he hears a noise, he runs back inside.
Have you put him in the snow yet?
No.
Are you going to?
Well, he was found in the snow with his back legs broken, so I thought maybe it'd be triggering for him.
Oh, you know what? Valid. Oh, you goofy cat.
Yes, thank you. Don't contradict me so much.
You can do whatever you like, Bean.
He's a good boy. Do you have any thoughts on Nintendo's story power? Oh, he says Skyward Sword is the best game, and he'd like to see Wind Waker on Switch.
I think I heard him say that Wind Waker is the best game, and he wants to see it on Switch. I didn't hear anything about Skyward Sword.
No, he just said it again.
No, Emily, you need to work on your cat knees. I think that's an actually real language. I can't say that. You need to work on your Catchigal? Catalian?
saying that right. I don't think he's saying that right.
You-
The Princess Peach game is adorable. It's adorable. It's so cute. Doesn't have a very good story, but it's fun to play and it's cute.
It's one of those games that doesn't necessarily need a story, but it's there. It exists. Waluigi needs a game. Period. Daisy needs a game. Point blank. Period. Luigi has a game. Wario has had a game since the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, and he's had multiple games. Who do you want?
Princess Eclair from the Waffle Kingdom.
Honestly, we don't even know what she looks like, but we'd love it. I'd kill for it.
There's like a fan art of her that I, up until like 5 years ago, thought was real art. I thought that was her actual character. She's so cute. She's got like little Leia buns, but they're waffles. Just the fact that like the implication that Peach being part of the Mushroom Kingdom, there's like other food-based kingdoms out there, like the Waffle Kingdom.
Yeah.
I want all the food-themed kingdoms now.
My question is, where's Daisy from?
The Flower Kingdom.
There is a Flower Kingdom.
So do you think this means Princess Peach was born in the Fruit Kingdom and then fell into the Mushroom Kingdom?
Yes. I mean, remember, technically, the Mario movie, it kind of explains, like, mentions something like she's the only human there and she doesn't know why.
And she's not a mushroom. She's not a mushroom, but she's in the Mushroom Kingdom. I feel like there has to be a Peach Kingdom or like a Fruit Kingdom or something like that. And she came from the Fruit Kingdom into the Mushroom Kingdom. And then there's the Waffle Kingdom. And the Waffle Kingdom, Princess Eclair, I'd like to believe she has waffles on her.
The Mario movie has more lore than any Mario game within the last 7 years.
Embarrassing for Nintendo, isn't it?
And that wasn't even that much of a story.
Get your story better.
And it had Chris Pratt.
Is Chris Pratt? How's a movie with Chris Pratt in it doing better than your actual video games in terms of story?
Yeah, in terms of sales, it's not. It's up there actually in terms of sale with these games.
I was gonna say the Mario movie made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it made like $1 billion. It was insane. It was a lot, and it was good. I think they just could have chose a very. I remember watching that direct. This is pre-podcast existence. Emily and I were watching the direct, and we just remember him mentioning the movie. And he'll be voiced by Chris Pratt. He's so cool.
He's so cool.
And Emily and I were losing it.
So it's definitely made more money than Odyssey.
How much money did it make?
Mario Odyssey made like 25-30 million.
Okay, how much money did Mario movie make? Though I will say that it's easier to make money as a movie than as a game. I will at least recognize that.
1.36 billion.
Yeah, that tracks. Now that is split.
So compare one movie to one video game, and one took a lot less time to produce.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I only think one game has made $1 billion in sales. I think only GTA 5. Hold on, let's see. Has any game netted $1 billion?
Same G. I would kill for some waffles at this moment.
Okay.
I would kill to be in the Waffle Kingdom with waffles.
I don't think Fortnite counts, but technically Fortnite has.
You're telling me Fortnite is the only game that has crossed $1 billion fresh mark? Feels like the day that 50 Shades of Grey became the best-selling book of all time.
But that's all microtransactions.
That's how I feel in this moment.
I should do video game netted $1 billion. I don't want to watch a video.
Oh, for people who care, which is I don't think anybody but me. Dreamlight Valley has another. Dreamlight Valley has another developer update tomorrow.
Oh, update coming soon.
Cares to watch, which I will be watching. We'll probably find out about the next DLC because now that the first DLC is wrapped up, we'll find out what world we're getting. Probably roadmap. I think I'm the only one who cares, but.
You need to talk to my friend Ethan, who you've never met. He sent me a video that he's been playing it nonstop lately.
It's so fun. It's just a fun relaxing.
You will have one bone to pick with Ethan. You'll have one bone to pick, and that's because
What's the bone?
The day I met him, he used to work at my favorite local game store in my hometown. And the day I met him, I asked him, I'm like, okay, these games are both very popular right now. Which should I pick? And I was choosing between The Last of Us and The Last of Us and BioShock Infinite. And he's like,
you did tell me this story,
Yeah.
and you still should play The Last of Us.
I'm going to, but I love BioShock Infinite. I think he made the right choice knowing me. Anywho,
I know nothing about BioShock Infinite to tell you. Otherwise, I'm sure I've heard fantastic things about it. You should still play The Last of Us.
As of a year ago, Candy Crush Saga has netted more than $20 billion.
So upsetting, and I think my mom's part of that.
It's always it's all old people who can afford it.
It's always the moms.
As of September 26, 2023, almost a year to the day, they've made $20 billion. And now Microsoft owns them. When they bought Activision.
Hey, when do you think we're going to get Kingdom Hearts 4? Never?
2026.
That's the rumor on the street. Do I believe it? I don't know.
Nomura is pretty much said, I didn't mention this, I don't know if I talked to you. No, I have talked to you about this. I know I have. Nomura pretty much said, I'm retiring soon. This is probably the end of Kingdom Hearts. We're going to get...
I didn't think 3 the end. He could have done it.
I'm okay with one more because I'm an obsessive fan. I think he's going to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake. He's going to finish Part 3. And he's going to do Kingdom Hearts 4. And then he's going to...
There's more Final Fantasy VII Remake coming?
There's only one more part.
Oh, boy.
They told us from the beginning it's going to be a trilogy.
I thought we were done.
Yeah. Well, you didn't play. But yeah, the ending of Rebirth was not the ending.
What about Crisis Core?
Crisis Core is a prequel. And Crisis Core is a remake of a PSP game. It's not part of the remake trilogy. It's not even a remake. It's a remaster.
We've had so many. We had the original, then we had Crisis Core, then we had Rebirth. This is a lot of Final Fantasy. We're going on 4 Final Fantasy VII games.
I want you to think before Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because before, we had Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, Final Fantasy Crisis Core, the original before the remaster. We had Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus. There is a lot. We had the Advent Children movie. There is so much Final Fantasy VII. They are milking that cow of all time.
We were kind of done. I was kind of happy to be done.
I think the original rumors that it was going to be 4 games. It's not going to be 4 games. It's going to end at 3.
Oh, well, on that note.
Are you done? You tapped out?
Yeah, I need to go pack.
Oh, that's right. You're leaving tomorrow. Okay.
Very early in the morning to leave.
You leaving from the other side of the state or your current town?
My current town.
Well, that's nice at least. That makes life
There's
easier.
direct flights, so.
We officially booked our flights for December. We're set to go. Oh, you thought I was coming to see you? You thought we were going to visit you?
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. We really appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, and Trish, who was here earlier. Thank you so much.
Huh? Who?
Trish.
Oh, Trish.